Okay, so today we want you to maybe step outside for a bit, slow down, and discover that amazing, sometimes hidden world right there on your doorstep, or maybe even further afield. We're doing a deep dive into this really great resource. It's called Chris Packham's Birdwatching Guide, From Beginner to Birders. And look, this isn't just about telling a robin from, say, a blackbird. That's part of it, sure. It's more about opening your eyes, tuning your ears, and really connecting with the natural world that's all around us, no matter where you happen to be.
Yeah, and it really is quite special, this guide. It's comprehensive, 160 pages, hardback, just came out from Dorling Kindersley back in March 2024. And its mission, it's pretty clear. It wants to be a really accessible way in, for observing and identifying birds for basically anyone.
Accessible, right. That seems important.
Exactly. And what truly elevates this, I think, is who it's from.
Chris Packham.
Chris Packham, yeah. Well known from BBC's Springwatch, Autumn Watch, Winter Watch. You know the ones.
Absolutely.
He brings, decades of experience. And not just knowledge, but this knack for making complicated stuff sound, engaging and easy to grasp.
Right.
For everyone. So our mission today for this deep dive is really to unpack how this guide manages to be so accessible. And maybe think about the bigger picture. What it means for, all of us trying to connect more with nature.
Yeah, Chris Packham, he's got this infectious passion, doesn't he? You feel it when you watch him. He makes complex natural history stuff feel understandable, almost simple.
Yeah.
So how does he actually manage that? Taking that charisma and energy and putting it into a, practical book.
Well, he does it really effectively, actually. And the way the book's structured is pretty clever. It takes you step by step, like a progression.
Yeah.
So we start off as a complete beginner, maybe just looking out your window, like you said, and it builds you up, towards being a pretty accomplished birder, someone who feels confident exploring different places. And it's wonderfully jargon light. That's a big plus.
Oh, definitely. Nothing worse than feeling overwhelmed by technical terms right at the start.
Exactly. So it works for all ages, all levels of experience. Which raises a good question, right? How does it give you enough detail without being overwhelming?
Yeah, how does it strike that balance?
The way it does it is it avoids being just a traditional field guide, endless lists of species or some dense academic textbook. Instead, it focuses on explaining how different birds look, yes, but also, crucially, how they live their lives. And it does this in really practical, engaging ways. It makes the whole learning process feel, natural and fun.
That makes a lot of sense. That progressive path sounds really empowering. I can picture it starting small, maybe just noticing the sparrows in the garden, like you said.
Yeah.
Then getting a bit more adventurous, exploring a local park, and maybe eventually heading out to, a proper nature reserve. It kind of demystifies the whole thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Takes away that feeling that birdwatching is only for, hardcore experts.
Precisely. It shows you it's for everyone, everywhere. You don't need a PhD to start enjoying birds.
Yeah, it builds that confidence piece by piece.
Exactly. One step at a time.
Okay, so Packham gets you hooked with his enthusiasm. What's the very first practical step the guide walks you through? What's the first bit of advice for a total newbie?
Right, well, jump straight into the practical side of things. There's a whole section early on about equipment and techniques. It covers the essentials, what gear you might want to think about buying, and importantly, how to actually use it effectively.
The gear question. Binoculars and stuff.
Exactly. Binoculars are a big one for beginners. The guide helps you make smart choices. Like, it might explain why, say, an 8x42 pair could be a good starting point, gives you a nice wide view, lets in decent light. It even gives little tips, like how to hold them steady by bracing your elbows, things like that.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, it's really practical, actionable advice. It removes that barrier, People sometimes get put off thinking they need loads of expensive kit. This guide helps you navigate that.
That's great. So you've got your binoculars, or maybe you're just starting with your eyes and ears. A lot of people probably think, okay, now I need to drive hours into the countryside. Does he tackle that idea?
Oh, absolutely. He completely knocks that idea on the head. And that's one of the most, liberating things about this guide, I think. There's a whole part on where and when to look, and he stresses that you can find birds pretty much anywhere.
Anywhere, even in the city.
Yep. Urban settings, your own garden, even just a balcony. Local parks, obviously, or out in the countryside if you can get there. His key point is that birds are, and I think this is a direct quote, guaranteed regardless of location.
Guaranteed. I like that.
It makes them the perfect starting point for watching nature, doesn't it? Because they're there. The focus is very much on finding nature right outside your own door. Makes it super accessible, no need for big expeditions initially. It really encourages you to just look around where you already are.
That's fantastic. So, okay, you start local, you're building skills. Does the guide then sort of nudge you to look further afield? Or does it keep you in the garden?
Oh, no, it definitely encourages you to spread your wings, so to speak.
Yeah.
As you get more comfortable, more confident, the book naturally guides you towards exploring different places. There's a section on habitat diversity.
Right.
So it encourages you to go beyond your local patch, maybe visit wildlife reserves or specific types of habitats, and each new place offers, different birds and new challenges for observing them. Think about dense woods versus wide open estuaries full of wading birds.
Yeah, completely different experiences.
Totally. Or coastal cliffs buzzing with seabirds. It shows you the variety.
Yeah.
So this gradual expansion, it builds your skills, but also your curiosity. It lays out a clear path from the familiar to the new, helping you grow as a bird watcher and understand these different environments.
It really sounds like it goes beyond just, ticking species off a list. It's about understanding the birds in their world. So once you've spotted something, how does the guide help you, get to know the bird better? Its life, its habits?
Exactly that. It's not just about the what, it's about the how and why. The bird profiles and examples section really digs into this. It's got beautiful photos of UK birds, of course, but crucially, it pairs those with really practical info about their characteristics, their behaviors, what they do.
Okay.
So you're not just seeing a picture, you're learning a bit about their story. You might encounter examples ranging from, say, a really shy bittern hiding in the reeds to a bold as brass robin in your garden, or maybe those amazing gymnastic red kites you sometimes see soaring.
Yeah.
And this selection, it covers a real cross-section of species from different habitats. It helps you appreciate the sheer variety out there. It uses these specific, often quite relatable examples to make the learning feel real and stick in your mind. Helps you build a connection.
And connecting like that must have real educational value, surely. Going beyond just the facts, fostering a bit of appreciation.
Oh, absolutely. It's cleverly done. The book actually helps you realize you probably already know more birds than you think.
Oh, that's a nice touch. Validating what you know.
Yeah, it's a great confidence booster. And from there, it layers in these fascinating details about how birds live. Like, you might learn how a tiny wren builds several nests to impress a female, or about the incredible journeys some migratory birds make, or why a certain bird has that specific beak shape, or why its song changes with the seasons.
Right, the why behind it all.
Exactly. It offers these accessible scientific insights, but it never feels dry or academic. It's really effective because it builds on what you might already intuitively know or notice, rather than making you feel like you're starting from zero knowledge. It creates this really positive feedback loop for learning. It kind of opens up the whole natural world through the lens of birds.
So people are connecting with these birds, understanding their lives. Does Packham suggest there's a bigger point to all this? A sort of ultimate goal beyond just enjoying the bird watching itself?
Yes, definitely. And this is where the guide's deeper message really comes through. The ultimate aim isn't just about identifying birds, it goes much further than that. Packham is quite explicit, really. He wants to bring more people into actively caring about and supporting environmental conservation.
Okay, so bird watching is a kind of gateway.
Precisely. He positions it as a really accessible entry point to broader environmental awareness. Because birds are, as he puts it, such an accessible portion of the natural world, you can connect with them almost anywhere. And once you start connecting, you start caring. If you observe birds regularly, you start noticing things, maybe their habitat changing, or numbers declining, or shifts in their behavior potentially linked to climate change. That personal observation, that connection, it naturally fosters a sense of responsibility for the birds, for their homes, and for the wider environment they depend on.
That makes perfect sense. You care about what you know and feel connected to.
Exactly. It turns observation into advocacy, potentially.
So it's really clear this guide isn't aimed just at people who already know loads about birds. It's genuinely for anyone starting out.
Absolutely. The target audience is clearly broad people of all sorts of ages. It's designed as an excellent introduction, not a specialist text. And the feedback seems to back that up. Early readers apparently found it quite useful, which is good, but more tellingly, they kept going back to it. repeatedly returning to its pages, was the phrase used.
That says a lot, doesn't it? That it holds your interest.
It really does. It suggests it's effective not just initially, but in keeping that curiosity alive, fostering that longer-term engagement with nature.
What an amazing journey this guide seems to map out. You start by just maybe noticing a bird outside your window, and you learn to understand its life, its world, and that understanding blossoms into this wider appreciation for nature, and even a sense of urgency about protecting it. It's about way more than just birds in the end.
It really is. Looking back at our deep dive, a few things stand out, I think. First, birdwatching genuinely is for everyone. Doesn't matter where you are or what you know to start with. Second, Packham's approach makes it a brilliant way to build confidence and pick up some accessible science about the world around you. And third, perhaps most importantly, it frames the simple act of watching birds as a direct route to environmental awareness and hopefully conservation action.
Yeah.
It really drives home that just paying attention, just looking and listening can ignite something much bigger, maybe even a lifelong commitment to protecting our planet.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your day, today or tomorrow, perhaps just take a moment, look up, listen. How might paying just a little bit more attention to the birds around you wherever you are, how might that not only add a bit of wonder to your daily routine, but maybe, just maybe, change how you see your own place in the natural world, and perhaps the responsibility that comes with that? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.